Hello, I'm Gary Numan and I'm being interviewed by the music press. It went very well actually, considering that I was really not as rehearsed as I should have been. There was several songs that I didn't know the words to at all. I've been crushing them in the dressing room, everyone went out to dinner, I'm in the dressing room trying to learn these stupid words that I wrote when I was 20, whatever it was. Hadn't sung them since I recorded them in 19 or 20, something like that. So found out they were a lot higher than I can do now, so I have to adapt that for tomorrow a little bit. That's quite embarrassing. But they were really, really cool. I did feel as if I was really aware that I should have had a good 2 days more rehearsing, but things got a bit tricky in rehearsal. We're trying to get all the light programming worked out for it, because that's a brand new show that we're doing tonight. Spent days on that, weeks on that, trying to get that sorted, and that hit the rehearsal time, so that I missed lots and lots of rehearsal time. So when it actually came to do it, I'm familiar with what comes next, because a lot of these songs are really old. Really, I haven't done them for 3 decades or more. So I felt really clumsy. I don't know the right way to put it actually. But normally when you're playing, you know what's coming, and you hit a chord and you just know it's the right one. And then tonight I hit one and it was the right one, and I felt relieved. Thank God for that. I've remembered the right words or something. And it shouldn't be like that really. That's not professional, but it's just unavoidable, unfortunately. When I started, I used to choose them myself. I used to go out and I would be aware of people that were around and so on. More recently, I still do some of that. Did today, for example, I picked people today. Other times, I get advised really. People come up and say, this band want to do it, and that such and such a magazine is supporting them, so it would be good for you, make you look good. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I prefer to sort of choose them myself really, because I don't know. I remember what it was like, just about to be trying to get somewhere, and how difficult it was, and nobody being interested. So it's nice if somebody notices you, and puts you in front of some people. Really. that was just because I had a load of guitar effects builders lying around, because I used to be a guitar player, and so why not really? Anything that makes a noise, and anything that then can manipulate that noise and turn it into something else, I find that interesting. Always have done. So in the very early days when I was first sort of stumbling along with synthesizers and didn't really know much about them, couldn't afford. The funny thing was, I used to read things about me then saying that I was this synthesizer genius, and I wasn't at all, because we couldn't afford them until we had some success. We couldn't afford them, so I've been number one twice before I even owned a synthesizer. So my total amount of knowledge was about 6 hours. I rented it in for a session, recorded everything really, really quickly, and then they come and took it away. But I knew less about them than the bloke in the shop selling them. But because I'd had this big single, anyway. But then it's something that you just do. You've got something there that makes a noise, and then you look around for what you can do to make it more interesting. So you plug it into anything that there is, actually. But I think Tony Halliday from Curve, she came around my house once, and she sat on the floor and she put this big array of pedals around her and just plugged it in one end, and she just sat there just tweaking stuff. Had no idea what was happening, just doing it until something good came out the other end of it. I thought that was brilliant. Yeah, 9 Inch Nails would be my favourite. Really proud of that one. I was really proud when Trent came to see us when we played in America somewhere. I can't remember what it was. Baton Rouge, that was it. And he bought his cover version of a song of mine called Metal. And this is when he was making Fragile. And gave that to me as we played it on the bus, and it was all amazing, and I was really blown away with it. And then it came out on an album, and so we sort of got to know each other a little bit. But that has always been my most favourite cover that anyone's ever done. There's been a lot of them, but that's my favourite. And then getting to work with them. Actually, I sung that with them on stage at the O2 in London last year, year before actually. And then went to America and did some more stuff with them. But it's all around that song really, because of that song. I've done 3 recently actually that I've been really pleased with. Did a band called Motor, who were here tonight. That was good, a really good track with them. A band called South Central, which we played tonight from Brighton. And there's another band called Battles from America that we've just done a song with, that's coming out soon. And that's kind of it actually. Out of the people that I've come across recently that I'm really into, I've played with them all now. So, and I think having 3 coming out at once is probably a good time to just give it a rest, because you can do too much of that sort of thing really. You become like an extra on everybody else's record. And as I say, I've done the Nin thing, which probably would have been my pinnacle. So I can't think of anyone to be honest, but it's one of those things that somebody comes along and suggests it, you suddenly think, oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that. That would be cool. But I can't think of anything at the moment, anyone at the moment. Well, I should learn to be a man like you. When I was a little boy, the Monkeys, but I mean little, we used to have a group in our street called Monkey Juniors, and we'd go around people's houses and mime to Monkeys records for sweet money when I was about 8 or 9. But then later on, seriously, when I seriously wanted to get into music, it was T-Rex, a big T-Rex fan. And then when I got into electronic music, it was Ultravox, early Ultravox with John Fox, who I thought were great. They were kind of the blueprint for me really. I get a lot of credit for being at the beginning of all of this electronic thing, but when I made my first album, Ultravox were making their 3rd. Yeah, they were light years ahead of me. They never really got the recognition they deserve and everything. And then the last big one, early 90s, I think Depeche Mode put out an album called Songs of Faith and Devotion, and that was a major turning point for me as well. My own career was really in the toilet at that point. I was really struggling, and my songwriting was rubbish. In a right, just rubbish. I had no money. Girlfriend was a bitch from there on. Life was a bit rubbish really. And then I heard that album and I just thought, there is a different way to what I've been doing, and it just changed me. And I've been following that one ever since, which is why it's brilliant that we had Alan here tonight. For me, I was really honoured. I'm a big Recoil fan, actually. I love what Alan does a lot. 9 Inch Nails always, it just never goes away. The more of the newer bands, I think South Central are good actually, and I really do like Battles, which is why I collaborated with them, because they're kind of my favourites at the moment. That's about it really. We just did a remix competition, and there were some of the things on that were brilliant from people that I'd never heard of before. One of them was, what's it called, Reactor I think it was, come second. So I'm sure there's a massive amount of people out there. It's just I just don't get to hear as much of it as I'd like to really. I go to lots of gigs, less now than I used to because of where I live. I go to lots of gigs to try to keep up and hear things, but it's not often that anything really blows you away. I hear people raving about stuff, so I go and check it out, and it doesn't work for me. No, I don't know if that's an age thing or just I do like a specific kind of music. I'm quite narrow. Really, which is bad for a musician. You should be as broad as possible. And I'm not. I like stuff within that little range, which is shit, really. Well, it had actually been out before that. Richard X did it as an illegal bootleg with another woman. I can't remember her name, or another mix. And I really liked it, and I knew that they were playing it a lot in the club, so I was kind of aware that it had been done, not with Sugar Baby, but someone else. And I really liked it. I thought it was brilliant. I mean, I liked that vocal better than mine that I wrote for the song to start with. So I was really impressed with it. And I thought it was a shame that it wasn't ever going to come out properly anyway. So when the Sugar Babes thing came along, and they played their version of it, I was actually quite cool with it. I think that that particular lineup anyway, the Sugar Babes that did that, they really can sing properly. And a lot of those girl groups can't really, very well. They're all right. But it's all a little bit pop nonsense really. But Sugar Babes actually can, and they're genuinely good singers. So I was quite cool with it. Didn't expect it to go to #1, to be honest. That was a pleasant surprise. But I was all right. I think a lot of people seem to have expected me to sort of slag it off a little bit, and because it was pop. And but I thought it was great. I heard it at an award. So they got an award for best single or something, which I was proud of because it was my music. And they played it, and it just sounded huge. 25 years, whatever it was, after it was first written. So I was quite proud of it actually.
So now I'm alone. Now I can think for myself.
I think it's flattering. If people talk about what you did some time ago and it's had some kind of an influence or been important to them, then I think that's a very good thing, and I'm very proud of it. But I'm not really that interested in exploiting that, if that makes any sense. I don't want to be here now because of something that I did 30 years ago. I want to be here now because the last album was really good, not the 25th one ago was really good, however many it is. I really do believe that you should only be as good as your last album. If your last album sucks, then your career should suck and should go down because of it. You've got to keep putting out good stuff, and you've got to keep trying to push things forward and trying to come up with new sounds and new ways of doing it. It's no good saying, "Oh, I wrote Cars, aren't I great for the rest of my life?" Because it was all right then, but soon after that, other people were writing stuff just as good, if not better. And you've got to keep on doing it. You've got to keep on. You can't just sit back and have a little bit of success and think that's you done with, because that's just rubbish. The whole excitement of it, really, the thing that makes you want to keep doing it, is that desire to keep trying to come up with something that you haven't thought of before. That is the fun of it, surely. Not just having a big single and then living off that for the rest of your life. But I'm surprised at how many people do that. I know what it is. I don't understand what they get out of it. I would find that soul destroying, really, to sort of keep going out and doing the same old thing again and again. I went for years, about 3 or 4 years. I didn't even put Cars in the live set because it felt like it was just hanging around my neck a little bit. A bit more comfortable with it now. But generally speaking, I'm more interested in what I'm doing tomorrow than what I did yesterday. But there is a certain debt, I suppose, to the people that have been with you. So you can't not do anything, because that's arrogant, and it's like sticking 2 fingers up at your own fans, so that's not cool. On the other hand, you can't go out and do a greatest hits tour every time you go out. Right? It gets pretty boring. It's a difficult balance to try to do newer things, predominantly newer things, but doing enough old stuff that you keep those of them that want to hear that, you keep them happy. And I don't often get it right, unfortunately. I probably won't tonight. I'll be loads of bitching and you didn't do that.
I missed it tonight. So it's time to leave.
I prefer stage, actually. I love it all. But if I had to choose one or the other, then this is more exciting and more fun. Being shut in a room on your own for weeks at a time, it's all very well. You're creating stuff and you get happy with it, but it doesn't have the same level of excitement as this sort of thing does. This is really good fun. It's the best end of it. It's probably going to be July. I've got 2 vocals to do and then it's done. It's a mini album, there's only 6 new songs. Then there's loads of other different mixes and things that have been done by various people. Motor, I think, have done one actually. So that's coming out in July, and then the Splinter album, which is the main one really for me, a proper album, that would be finished by the end of August, but we're probably going to hang on to that and put that out probably next springtime. So we get Dead Sun Rising out and tour that, and then there's another thing we're going to be doing towards the end of the year from this DVD package, and we don't want Splinter kind of falling in the middle of all that. We want it to have a nice clear campaign around it so we can give it its best shot. Words of wisdom for fans. God. I had a fan come up to my wife today and said, "Any chance of a backstage pass?" And she went, "No, sorry, no." And he went, "Why not? I've been coming here for 25 years. Don't I deserve it?" knob. I love them to bits, but sometimes you get one, just, it's a knob, you know. So, words of wisdom, if you want a backstage pass, don't be a knob about it, you know, ask nicely, and you've got a much better chance than saying you've been coming for 25 years, because I've been coming for 30, you know, so where were you for the first 5? You know, there's fans that they've been there for 30 years, give them one. Not really, not really. But there's a nice way of going about something, isn't there? You know, and you just, I had somebody camping in my garden once. I woke up and I could smell bacon, which is a bit surprising because I only just woke up. What's that? And I looked out my window and some bloke had pitched a tent in my front garden and was cooking breakfast. And I wasn't very happy about it, you know, I didn't shout or anything, but I think, no mate, what are you doing? You know, this is my garden. And he was kind of offended that I wasn't pleased to see him. God, I've come all the way from Liverpool. I don't give a fuck where you've come from. Yeah, it's my fucking garden, for Christ's sake. Sometimes they think, no, buy an album, you're mine, forever. But the majority of them are absolutely brilliant, brilliant. And I owe them a huge amount. But it doesn't matter how much you owe them, you know, you still got to be polite, not camping my garden, things like that, and then we'll get on just fine. You know, but it's lovely. It's lovely to see them, and we're probably not going to do it tonight because we've got to get off. But normally what we do is everyone, and they kind of know it. They go and wait for the bus, and I can be out there for a couple of hours or so, just signing everything and making sure everybody gets to talk to them, pictures and things. I do generally, I take the piss out of them a little bit, but I do appreciate it actually then quite a lot. Just don't want them camping in my garden. That's all. Especially now I've got kids.